Dollar General, prepping paradise or consumer nightmare? Let's find out. Hey guys, it's Jara with Wicked Prepared, and today I'm taking you along with me to Dollar General. I've done videos on prepping at Walmart and prepping at Dollar Tree, but I haven't done much prepping at Dollar General. And I had a request for a Dollar General video. We do have a Dollar General right down the road from us, but I have only been in a handful of times. I did a little research on Dollar General stores, and I did find some concerning things. They have been sued and fined multiple times for deceptive pricing. And it's a pretty pervasive problem that items ring up for more than the marked shelf price. And in the case of Dollar General, it's been large discrepancies on a large number of items. The stores are notoriously understaffed, and this is part of the problem, when they don't have the manpower to get shelf tags changed as prices rise. It also leads to stores that are cluttered with unshelved merchandise to the point that some stores have been shut down by the fire marshal for unsafe conditions. With all the problems and scandals, you might say, just don't shop there. But the problem is that some people have no other choice. Dollar General stores are very prevalent in lower income, rural, and suburban areas where you can sometimes find multiple Dollar General stores before you find a single other grocery store. Case in point, my sister lives one town over from me. It's a very small town. In fact, it's the town I grew up in. There are a lot of low-income folks there, some of whom don't have any transportation. In this small town, they don't have a Walmart, they don't have a grocery store, they don't even have their own post office right now. They have 2 gas stations and they have a Dollar General. So the fact is that for some people, it might be one of their only options for shopping on an everyday basis. So I'm going into the Dollar General and shopping for preps, looking at things as if this is my only option. So if you shop at Dollar General, just keep in mind, if you do have other options, this might not always be the best or cheapest place to buy things. Also be vigilant. Pay attention to the prices on the shelf and at the register. Know your consumer rights. I did find a few things in this store that I was really excited about and that I've never found anywhere else. So be on the lookout for hidden gems. Okay guys, let's go prep at Dollar General. So walking into Dollar General, the first thing I noticed was lots and lots of charcoal and lighter fluid. I'm sure this is seasonal because it's the beginning of spring and stores are setting up their summer displays, but it's the best option I found here for emergency cooking fuel. Obviously, it's not to be used indoors, but depending on your situation, you could use it under a carport or a covered porch, inside a garage with the overhead door open. If you already have a cast iron Dutch oven, you can use charcoal to cook and bake just about anything in your Dutch oven without power. Inside the store, let's head first over to the grocery area and take care of arguably some of the most important preps that everyone needs: food and water. The most important of these is water, which is necessary not only for drinking, but also for sanitation needs and food preparation. Concerningly, I didn't find any gallon or larger sized water sold at this Dollar General store. There were a lot of gaps in this section, and maybe I missed it, but I didn't even see any shelf space for gallon jugs. They do have plenty of cases of the individual bottles, which are good to have on hand as well, especially for their portability. They aren't priced too badly here either. Every 8 bottles like this will equal approximately 1 gallon, if that helps your figuring on how much to have on hand. 1 gallon per person per day for the time period you're trying to cover is the absolute bare minimum, and really you should have more. Don't forget to account for pets as well. I'll talk about a couple of other possible solutions for water later on in the video, so stay tuned. Dollar General also has a good variety of water flavorings, which can be important to have to improve the flavor if you're drinking water that's been stored or treated, or just to ensure that you don't get sick of drinking just plain water. Maybe you have kiddos who you have a hard time getting to drink plain water. A little flavoring can help make sure everybody's getting their fluids in. I didn't see any of the hydrating type with electrolytes here at Dollar General, but they do have these energy ones with caffeine, which could be important if you need a boost of energy to keep yourself going during an emergency. These would be great to throw in your get-home bag, for instance. Speaking of caffeine and energy drinks, when you're prepping at Dollar General, another beverage that's good to pick up for your preps is the original energy drink, coffee, or tea if that's your jam. Skip the K-cups for emergencies. You can buy regular ground coffee if you have a grid down friendly coffee maker like a pour over filter, or if you make it cowboy style. My friend Cece over at K&C Montana Homestead has a video on that. If you want to check it out, I'll put that link down below for you. However, for emergencies, instant coffee is king, and they do have that here at Dollar General for a decent price. Wow, that's a really decent price. Okay, I see. They just have this in the wrong place. Okay, these should be down here. So this is $6. Not the best price for instant coffee, but if this is your only option, it's certainly not the worst. They also have these individual stick packs, which are great for things like homemade MRE packs, go bags, and things like that. Ooh, and look at these individual flavored creamer powder packs. I have never even seen these anywhere, to be honest. These will have a much longer shelf life than something like these little cups of creamer, for example. So they're good to have on hand. And of course, grab some plain non-dairy creamer powder. I really don't care for this stuff much, but in a pinch, it's better than nothing. And it does have more than one use, as we'll see later on in the video. Also in this section, don't forget to stock up on hot cocoa if that's something that you like to drink. As long as you can heat water, this is a great comfort item to have during a cold weather emergency. Again, not the best price, but if this is your only option, it's worth grabbing. Also, don't forget Dollar General usually has $5 off $25 coupons every week that you could use to gradually build your emergency food storage by buying $25 worth of stuff every week and using that coupon to essentially save 20% on every item. Before you leave the coffee section, make sure to pick up some coffee filters, which they have here. These are not only good for making coffee, but they can also be used to pre-filter water. If you're going to be treating it with something or putting it through an expensive filter, it's best to remove some of the bits that you can before you get started. Now that we have water and other beverages covered, let's head to the canned food section. Here I see that Dollar General has a really good selection of canned meats, which are a great way to add more protein to your prepper pantry. They have canned hams, Spam or luncheon meat. They have a store brand, and they have Treat, which is even cheaper per ounce than the store brand. That's pretty typical. Look at this. They even have the Spam singles here. I usually have to order these online. I can never find these in a store near me. They have corned beef and roast beef, and all of these items that we've just looked at are fairly high in sodium and unnecessary ingredients, all those additives that some people try to avoid. So if you want to cut down on those things, some chicken and some tuna are a good choice. I really like to get these packets that have chicken salad or tuna salad already mixed up and ready to eat, so you don't need additional condiments. Wow, I've never seen this in a can before. Usually it's in packets, but if you have some crackers or if you can make up some flatbread or something, you can have a good lunch with some of these packets or cans of chicken or tuna. I wasn't very impressed with the cracker selection here at Dollar General, and nothing had a very far off expiration date, but if you wanted to take the time to vacuum seal some into mason jars, they would last a lot longer. And if we pop over here to the Hispanic section, check out these tortillas. It's hard to read, but these don't expire until November, and it's March right now when I'm looking at these. So that's almost 9 months. And knowing that things usually last quite a while longer past that Best By date, I'm willing to bet these might be something you could keep on hand as a bread substitute for probably about a year. Then just buy a new package and rotate the old one and use it up. They do also have these lunch packs that come with crackers, but depending on your appetite, one might not be enough for you for a meal. Something like this is not going to be a long-term prep that you can keep around for 10 years or anything like that, but they are shelf stable. And if you can keep them on the shelf for a year or so and then use them and replace them, they can be part of your emergency food plan. So after their great selection of canned meats, they have some canned meals, which is a great thing to have in your emergency prepper pantry. Things like beef stew, chicken and dumplings, chili, and canned pastas like these. Canned soups can also fit into this category, especially the heartier, chunky soups. Wow, look at these La Choy Asian style soups. I've never seen these before anywhere. But anyways, these ready-to-eat meals and soups are great to have in your prepper pantry because you can just open and eat. You don't have to add water or cook them to prepare them. You don't even really have to heat them if you didn't have the ability. Of course, they're going to taste better if they're warmed up, but they are safe to eat straight out of the can and would still fill you up and keep you from starving to death. They could also be heated right in the can, hobo style if needed. I wouldn't do this on the regular, but sometimes desperate times call for desperate measures. Also, while you're here in the canned soups, make sure to pick up some dry bouillon. This can go a long ways towards flavoring otherwise bland dishes like plain beans and rice. And don't forget good old ramen noodles. They're not the healthiest choice, but they are inexpensive, They're quick and easy to cook, and they can definitely be improved upon by adding other ingredients like canned proteins, canned veggies, and things like that. Just remember, these can go rancid more quickly than plain pastas due to a high oil content, so only stock these if you can rotate through them every year or so. We picked up a lot of canned food, so don't forget to pick up an extra manual can opener while you're here. One thing I didn't find is any matches in this store. The app says that they should have these long matches, but these are the only ones. I couldn't find them anywhere, and the employee I asked couldn't find them for me either. So no matches in my store, but they did have lighters up by the front checkouts. One thing I was surprised to find at Dollar General is canning jars. They didn't have a price on them that I could see, but this is where the app can come in handy. You can always check the price of an item on your app. So these were $6 for a 4-pack of quart jars or a 6-pack of pint jars. They're not ball jars, so I don't know. I personally wouldn't trust them for pressure canning until I had tested them out or talked to some people who had, but they'd definitely be good for dry goods storage. Another good item to pick up for your prepper pantry at Dollar General is pasta and sauce. Plain pasta like this lasts a very long time if you store it properly. They're easy to cook, they're filling, and most people enjoy pasta. You can make several different meals by choosing different types of sauce. They've got the tomato sauce, they've got the Alfredo sauce, or you can do something different altogether like make a casserole. And you could use some of those canned soups for that. Canned veggies, canned meats. I would recommend buying the spaghetti noodles at Dollar General to get the most bang for your buck and to fit the most calories in the smallest space. Yes, it does use water to cook pasta, but you can learn to cook one-dish pasta meals where you cook the pasta with the sauce and just enough water for the pasta to absorb, so you don't drain anything out and you're not wasting anything. It was here in the pasta section that I found my most favorite item of all today, and it's these meatball packs. These packs have meatballs and sauce in them, and I have never seen them in any store. I've only seen them online. So I was super excited to get to try these. If they're good, they're going to be perfect for the emergency pantry, homemade MRE packs, and go bags, all kinds of stuff. You'll also want to pick up those prepper staples, dry beans, and rice while you're at Dollar General. They have big bags of pinto beans and white rice at a decent price. These take a bit longer to cook, but they have the benefit of being shelf stable for a very, very long time if they're stored properly. If I was going to recommend one thing to stock up on the most, it would be white rice. It's very inexpensive. It has a very long shelf life for storage. It cooks up more quickly than beans, and it's unlikely for most people to have or develop a sensitivity to it. And so many of these other foods that we've already talked about, you can mix into rice or serve over rice to stretch them further and feed more people. Dollar General also has instant rice or minute rice. This is great for emergency food storage because it cooks much more quickly and therefore uses much less of your emergency fuel. You really just need to pour boiling water into it and let it set and it'll be done. You can also pick up some cans of beans. These won't use up your cooking fuel and water like the dry beans will. Although one benefit of the dry beans is that they can actually be sprouted and planted to grow green beans or more dry beans. Dry potatoes are another good item to have on hand, like these mashed potato flakes is what I'm talking about. You could also use these to bulk up or stretch a meal. For example, pour a can of beef stew over a pile of mashed potatoes or something like that. I like to get these pouches that already have seasoning and they have the milk and butter and everything already in them. You don't have to add anything to them like you do with the plain flakes. They're just add water. Moving on, we have some dry meals like these flavored pastas, macaroni and cheese, hamburger helpers, things like this. These can be good to have in your prepper pantry if you keep a few things in mind. Number one, these do need water to prepare, so take that into account with your water storage. Number two, they often require other ingredients to prepare them, such as milk or even meat. So make sure you have some kind of shelf-stable substitutes for those, or you're okay with leaving them out and how they might taste. Some, like this chicken-flavored pasta pouch, only needs water. Some of these call for milk, and I was surprised to find very little for shelf-stable milk at Dollar General, but remember that plain powdered coffee creamer we picked up? That can stand in for the milk in a pinch. With the mac and cheese, you're better off with the powdered cheese type than the deluxe type because those deluxe cheese packets, even though they don't need any extra butter or milk, the little packets of cheese do go bad pretty quickly, so they're not that great for food storage. So far, we've added protein and carbs to our food storage, but don't forget fruits and veggies. There's not a whole lot to choose from here at Dollar General, but they do have a small selection of both canned vegetables and fruits. So make sure to stock up on what you like to add some nutrition and variety to your emergency meals. Canned tomato products are another versatile Prepper Pantry staple that they sell here at Dollar General that can be used in many different emergency meals, so make sure to grab some of those. We've got lunch and dinners covered, but don't forget about breakfast. A couple of favorite emergency breakfast items in my family are oatmeal and pancakes. It's very inexpensive to buy some plain quick oats or old-fashioned oats as long as you have something to flavor them up with. That could be sugar, honey, dried or canned fruit, cinnamon, anything like that. But I really like buying the flavored instant oatmeal packets. Even though they're a little bit more expensive, they're so easy and they don't need any additional ingredients. And I've never had trouble with them going bad. Pancake mix is another great addition to your Prepper Pantry. All the pancake mix is out of stock here at this Dollar General, but it is something they carry. Make sure you choose a just add water pancake mix and grab some syrup too. Pancakes cook up quickly and easily. They use very little fuel and they're very filling. They could be eaten for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and they can even stand in as a bread substitute in a pinch. You could add some cereal to your Prepper Pantry if you have some shelf-stable milk or you don't mind eating it dry. Like I mentioned before, I was disappointed at the lack of shelf-stable milk that I found at this Dollar General. I didn't find any boxed milk or powdered milk. I only found some cans of evaporated milk, which is not a bad thing to keep in your Prepper Pantry. It wouldn't be my first choice for cereal, but it would work in a pinch, diluted with water. If you choose to get some cereal for your Prepper Pantry, I recommend looking at the Best By dates to see how much more life is left in it. The longest date I found here was almost a year out, and that was on these Honey Nut Cheerios. Remember, food doesn't have to have a 25-year shelf life to be part of your food storage if you're rotating things like you should. Like the crackers and many other things, you could vacuum seal the cereal in mason jars for much longer storage. Dollar General has a limited selection of basics that you can get for your Prepper Pantry, including flour, sugar, oil, salt, and seasonings. Salt is a very vital element of any Prepper Pantry, not only for seasoning food, but also for preserving food and for the fact that it's a vital nutrient that our bodies need to survive. Also, stock up on vinegar in this section of the store. This really isn't a bad price for a gallon of white vinegar these days. Besides cooking, it's very useful for cleaning, and it's also useful for food preservation purposes. And it's a forever food, meaning it's not going to go bad, so stock up on this one for sure. One last thing to pick up for your emergency pantry in Dollar General is peanut butter. Peanut butter provides a lot of protein and a concentrated source of calories because it's high in oils. Because of the oils, it can eventually go bad, but I have had peanut butter several years past their dates that is still fine as long as it hasn't been opened up. I would skip the jelly because that's not going to do well very long without refrigeration. Choose honey instead, which is a forever food. Whole nuts, which are in the snacks area, is another option, but only if they're something that you regularly eat so that you can keep them rotated, because they will certainly go rancid within a couple of years. Food and water are not the only preps to grab at Dollar General. Household necessities are an important part of your preps. Things like paper goods, plates, bowls, cups, and plastic flatware are going to be a godsend when you don't have electricity or hot water for washing dishes. And let's not forget toilet paper. Stock up on this over time so you never have to worry when others start to panic. Trash bags is another thing to stock up on. In an emergency, trash services may not be running, and you're going to need to deal with all of your household waste by yourself. These can also be used to line an emergency toilet, for instance. Contractor weight bags are useful for a number of things, and I actually did find a package of those at Dollar General. Personal hygiene items are going to be very important in an emergency as well. You can stock up on things like shampoo and conditioner, especially clarifying shampoo, and body wash. Have extra toothpaste, toothbrushes, and deodorant as well. One of the best items I found at this Dollar General were these large disposable washcloths or body wipes that I found in the dollar section. These will really come in handy when there's no running hot water and bathing with water is a huge hassle. These are going to help keep the funk off until you can really get clean. Also, don't forget about hand soap at Dollar General, but even more importantly, hand sanitizer, because not only can that help keep your hands clean and sanitary in a grid down situation, but it can also come in handy as something like a fire starter or emergency fuel. The higher the concentration of alcohol, the better for this purpose. So this one up here really caught my eye because it says right on it, 2 times sanitizing strength. So this one has 70% alcohol, which was a little bit more than the other ones I saw. I mean, if you're going to buy something for your preps, it might as well do double duty. But a good tip to know is if you add a little salt to hand sanitizer, it will separate the alcohol from whatever else is in there and you'll get some pure alcohol. How do you like my super scientific explanation there? Okay, moving on. If your household includes females, make sure to stock up on some feminine sanitary supplies as well. In the home decor area, I did find some candles. Most of these were scented candles, not great for prepping purposes, but down on the bottom shelf, they did have a few candles that were a little more appropriate. Don't forget to make a visit to the cleaning supplies aisle at Dollar General. Arguably, the most important item to pick up here is bleach. Not only can it be used for cleaning and disinfection, but it can also be used to purify water if you run out of stored drinking water. Remember, when you're buying bleach for prepping purposes, you want plain, disinfecting bleach. Stay away from low splash or scented bleaches. Make sure you see the disinfecting and germ-killing lingo on the bottle. Also keep in mind that bleach actually has a very short shelf life, so rotate it and make sure it's being replaced every 6 to 9 months or so. For other cleaning supplies, keep in mind that the vinegar you stocked up on can be used for cleaning, but I also like to keep some cleaner concentrates on hand. It's very versatile. They can be mixed up in a bucket or in a spray bottle, and a little bit is going to make a lot of cleaner. Another one to pick up here at Dollar General is this Totally Awesome Cleaner. That's really what it's called, and it is totally awesome. I usually buy this at Dollar Tree in little spray bottles, but it's actually cheaper here now that Dollar Tree is a $1.25 tree. Make sure to also get some paper towels and disinfecting wipes for convenience, since you may not be able to wash rags and sponges. Stock up on a little extra laundry soap and hand dish liquid as well, in case there comes a period of time when you can't get to the store or the stores are closed or out of things. The next thing to take care of at Dollar General is make sure you have a well-stocked first aid kit and necessary over-the-counter medications. Things that I saw to stock up on at Dollar General include wound care items. They've got wound wash, antibiotic ointment, Band-Aids, gauze, and tape. I really like this wound care kit that had all of these items included for a very reasonable price. Some instant cold packs and ace bandage wraps would also be a good thing to stock up on here. I'm generally not a huge fan of pre-made first aid kits like these, but you could use something like this as a base to build upon. One more good prep I found in this section is Vaseline or petroleum jelly. Not only is it a skin protectant, but it can also be used to make fire starters with some cotton balls or cotton pads, which they also have at Dollar General. They also have a good selection of dental care items. Besides toothbrushes and toothpaste, they also have things like a dental repair kit and some 20% benzocaine pain ointment. If routine medical and dental care weren't available for a period of time, these could prove invaluable. For the medicine cabinet, the things I would choose to stock up on here are pain relievers like ibuprofen and naproxen, an anti-diarrheal medication, an expectorant like guaifenesin, a nasal spray, and a Benadryl type of medication. I would also grab a multivitamin to fill in those nutritional gaps that are inevitably going to come from living off your food storage. But take into account what medications and supplements you and your family typically use, and I think you're going to find it all at Dollar General. Our last stop in Dollar General today is going to be the hardware and automotive aisle. It's not very comprehensive, but there were a few things that you could grab here. The first one is duct tape. Duct tape can be good for repairs or for securing an area for sheltering in place or for heat retention in a winter power outage. There's tons of uses for duct tape. They have some dust masks here also. Not the best, but they could come in handy in a situation where there's a lot of debris in the air. They have some basic tools here, so if you don't have any tools at home, you will want to make sure you have some on hand for any emergency repairs you have to do in a storm, for shutting off utilities, for getting your emergency equipment running, or anything like that. So once again, these are not going to be the best quality, but if you don't already have tools, you obviously don't use them very often, so these would probably hold up to occasional emergency use, and it's better than having no tools at all if Dollar General is your only option. I would also grab an extension cord here. That could be useful if you're using a generator or a power station in a power outage. Some zip ties are good to have for connecting things or making emergency repairs. They've got these box cutter blades. That's going to be a good purchase here. Some bungee cords and ratchet straps for securing things around your home. This Dollar General has these solar lights. These are actually a great thing to grab for an emergency. They're inexpensive, and if you have them outside your home, they're charging up all the time. So if the power goes out, they can light your way outside, or you can just grab a few and bring them inside and actually use them as inside lights as well. Dollar General even has this spotlight style for a little bit more money that you can aim a little bit differently. Besides these solar lights, they do have this little battery lantern that would be a good thing to have. We have some like this that we really like. And they have this 2-pack of flashlights with batteries for $7.75. I don't think that's a totally bad price. They say ultra bright, but then they also say 40 lumens, which I wouldn't really consider ultra bright, but I'm sure that they're sufficient. And this right here, this little LED light switch, these are actually pretty cool to have in power outages. You can see it's pretty bright, and it's also compact, so it's not going to take up a lot of space. But in general, they don't have a lot here for flashlights. But you can see there's a lot of empty spots. Like, I would have liked to see what this solar motion light is right here. And here they do have a spot for a headlamp, which I like to see because that's really the ideal thing to have so that you can have light and still work with your hands in an emergency situation. I didn't really find any good rope or cordage here at Dollar General. All they really have is this poly rope, which does not feel like something I would really want to work with, but they do have tarps here. This would be a good thing to grab. They've got a standard duty and a heavy duty tarp, and you can tell it is considerably heavier than the lighter duty one. In the automotive section, I was really hoping to find some good vehicle emergency items, but all I really found was some Fix-A-Flat, which would be a good thing to keep in your car. Not much else. I was hoping to find some fuel stabilizer, but there was nothing here. But they do have a small gas can that they sell here, and you could use this to store some backup fuel. They had some WD-40 in this section. That's a good thing to have around for lots of different reasons. The one other thing that I found in this section that I think would be a good addition to your emergency gear is this pail. I was really hoping to find some kind of a bucket with a lid here at Dollar General, but I didn't. But this is a good, large, sturdy bucket that could be used to gather and carry water if you run out of water. You could carry water for cleaning or toilet flushing, or you could carry some water to sanitize for drinking if you really had to. You could also use a bucket like this to wash a little laundry if you had to, or to take a sponge bath. I mean, there's all sorts of different things that this bucket could be used for. They did have a few things with their seasonal items, which would be good prepping items to have, including seeds. They had quite a selection of seeds. They had some seed starting equipment here. The self-sufficiency that comes from growing your own food becomes very important when you can't rely on the supply chain to feed your family. A few last things to think about before checking out of Dollar General. They do have a baby section and a pet section. So if your family includes either of these things, or if it could include them, such as family members who might arrive with babies or pets, don't forget to prep for them as well. Diapers and wipes for baby. My store didn't have any baby formula in stock, so let me know down in the comment section. Let everybody know if your Dollar General usually stocks baby formula. In the pet food section, pick up extra food for your pets. Canned is best for the longest shelf life. And don't forget to store extra drinking water for them as well. A few last things I spotted on my way to the checkout were batteries and some hand warmers. These would both be good to have for emergencies, but especially make sure you've picked up plenty of batteries. All in all, you won't do too bad prepping at Dollar General, especially when it comes to your Prepper Pantry food storage basics. What Prepper Pantry items do you like to pick up at Dollar General? And what are the biggest gaps that you see if Dollar General was your only option? If you made it all the way to the end of the video, leave me a spaghetti emoji down in the comments, and check out this video next to see my top picks for prepping at Walmart. I'm Jara with Wicked Prepared. Survive today, thrive tomorrow. We'll see you next time.